Hi, I'm Lexi Fotheringham with Burn Saddlery. So today we're going to do our acanthus pattern on our belt, and I've already dunked my leather in the water and I'm just going to go start off with tapping off. We have this one that is going to be our tip pattern and this one that is going to be the rest of the length of the belt pattern. The way that I have mine set up, I am just going to run the end of my leather just to the end of the belt and it'll line up perfectly for the rest of it. When tapping off, make sure that you're holding it down so that your tap off doesn't slide around, because if you have it and it moves a little bit, you're going to have a bunch of different lines and it's going to be hard to tell where you're supposed to cut. Once we've got the tip pattern on, we're going to go in with this pattern, and it is going to line up perfectly with the end of this one right here. And then we're just going to flip it over right on top. So you can see right here, we're missing one line. So I'm just going to go in and draw that on with my stylus so I don't forget to cut it in. So with this pattern, to line up and tap off another one, you're gonna line this acanthus right across with this one, and you're probably not gonna wanna hit up in this section too hard. You're just gonna hit from here down. Tap-offs are a lot quicker and easier for things like belts, stirrup leathers, stuff that is long and straight that you can do the same thing over and over again. It's nice to just get that pattern on there and get to work instead of having to draw it on over and over again. Now that we have our pattern on our leather, we're going to take our swivel knife, whatever you have set up at home is fine, and we are going to cut our pattern in. On these belts, we don't have a stitch groove or anything on ours, but if you are going to do a stitch groove, you are going to want to cut your tooling maybe a little bit tighter or downsize the pattern so that you can leave room for your stitch. With this pattern, it is all very flowy and flows together, and you really want to make sure that when you're cutting them, your lines don't cross over top of another line, so they're flowing right next to and with your line. When you're tooling these acanthuses, we have this line here and then this line right in here, and this second line is going to mimic this first line, so it should just flow good together. So now that we've got our belt pattern cut in, we're going to take and we're going to start tooling it with our pear shader. For today's project, we will be using a size 1 for our pear shader, and we're just going to go through and pear shade all of our stickers. With pear shading, I like to start my tool more of an angle up, and then as I'm going down, I kind of flatten it a little bit, but not too much that this point is going to go into the leather. With pear shading, you want to drag it out as much as the line behind it is. So you never want to go past this line behind it, but you don't want to hit hard all the way to it. You want to fade it out to that end of that line. Whenever I teach someone that's trying to learn tooling that's in the same shop as me, I tell them to listen to the sound of my maul hitting and try to match it. The same speed, the same sound and everything. And it might be a little bit different coming over top of the computer, but I would try and hit as fast as I am and as smooth as I am for your practice and go from there. So with my heavy maul, I really like to let it do the work. So I kind of just let it sit in my hand and drop it on top of it, and then I'll stop it, and it's just kind of just going back and forth in my hand like this. Now that we've finished up with our pear shades, we're just going to jump right in and bevel. I like to start and bevel all of my lines that are facing this way on my pattern, and then come through and bevel the other side. Now that we're done beveling that side of my lines, I'm going to flip my leather over and do the other side. The flow that we have going on for our belts is going down the belt pattern. So we're going to want to tool it the same way. So we're going to go heavy to light down our stickers. So right here, it's going to be heavy to light on all of them. And if you can't figure out how to tool backwards, per se, you can tool it light and then get heavy as you go instead of trying to go left to right. But it is good to be able to go both ways. Now that we have all of our long lines beveled, I'm going to switch my beveler and go to a smaller one and get those ones done. Now that we're done beveling, we're going to go on to the next step, and we're going to use our stop. The reason we use the stop in the acanthus where we do is just it's got a very blunt end on it, so we can use it just to end our floral and put a little mule's foot behind it just to give it a little bit of depth to our tooling other than just leaving it flat like that. Our stop is very easy to run. You just set it right in the end of our acanthus sticker right here, and you angle it up so that it only gets the point in the end of the sticker. You don't want anything else to it, and just give it a nice little hit. Once we got that done, we can go in and use something very similar, but we call it our veiner. It's got little teeth marks on it, and it's just going to give a nice decorative stamp to our acanthuses. The idea of it is to feather out along the back side of the acanthus. You don't want to lay it too flat that it goes and hits the outside of our acanthus. You want it just on the inside of it. And you're going to go kind of away from it. You don't want to have the tool turned towards so that it goes with it. You kind of want it to go against it and just curl out that back side. Same as our bevel. We want to go heavier at the start of it and lighter at the end. Once we got that done, we're going to go in with the mule's foot that I was talking about earlier that goes right behind our stop. And we just do 2 little hits, one heavier at the first and lighter at the second. These longer acanthuses, I'm going to add 3 just because I have the space. And when you do it, you don't want to hit it and have it go out into no man's land. You want it to follow with the flow of things. With your mule's foot and how we were talking about going out into no man's land, you just want it to follow right around this sticker of your acanthus, coming down and going with the flow. You don't want it to go out this way or crash into your lines at all. You just want a nice even flow. Now that we've got done with our mule's foot, I'm going to go in and bar ground the corner spots. So we don't have any spots that need just full hit bar ground. We just want to come in and hit heavier towards the middle and lighter towards the outside. And we really only need 2 to 3, maybe 4 hits on these ones to fill up our spot. Now that we've got that side done, I'm going to make it easier on myself and flip it over just so I can do the same exact thing. Now that we're done with that, we're just going to take and deco cut our piece and finish it up. When we're deco cutting our stickers, all I'm doing is accentuating our pear shade. So I'm just copying that same thing. It's kind of looks like a little sticker inside of our stickers. Just a nice little top line and then a long line coming out the bottom. And as we were doing our stickers, we run into some other elements in here, and all we're going to do with our acanthuses is 2 to 3 lines coming out and to the center. So now all we got left to do is deco cut our half acanthuses, is what I call them. And we're just going to mimic that same shape that they already have and deco cut them. And I actually forgot a step. We have to go back and we have to lift those little half acanthuses. Now that we're done with this section of the belt, all you have to do is continue those steps all the way down and you'll have a nice tooled belt. Thanks for watching. If you want more videos like this, subscribe to our channel.